Okay, okay. My son marriage. Okay, son's marriage. Son's marriage. Where? In Vellore. Marriage at is also.
Namaste, everyone. A very warm welcome on behalf of Yoga Bharati to everyone gathered here today.
What date?
Namaste, everyone. A very warm welcome to everyone gathered here today for this evening's special talk. The Parampara series of talk organized to relive the teachings of Shastriji through his direct associate.
27th February evening at Vellore. Oh, okay. We need your blessings.
This is the fourth talk of the series conducted on the first Saturday of each month. In the 3 previous months and talks, we've had Raghunandan ji, Garani Radhakrishna ji, Dr. Nagaratna Didi, and Dr. Lata Venkatram as part of our earlier talks. Today's talk, we're going to have a very special, eminent, and a very humble person, Dr. Nagendra Guruji, who has been a direct associate of Shastriji. Before we start today's talk, let me invite Dr. Nagendra. Namaste, Namaste, Guruji. Welcome to this evening's talk, Parampara series talk. Let us begin let us begin this session today with a prayer. Kindly sit comfortably with your eyes gently closed. Palms gathered in Namaskara Mudra. Let us chant with Omkara and the Sahana Vavatu. Gently breathe in.
He was a child. Namaste to all of you. Om Bhadram Karnebihi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhir Yajatra Tirairangai Tuštuvagam Sattanubhi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all, my dear brothers and sisters.
Guruji, could you give me a minute to introduce you?
Programs that Yoga Bharati is organizing, and particularly bringing out the great teachings of Professor A. Satyanarayana Shastriji, call it as Shastriji. And he lost his physical presence from January 14th, 2004. And he was born on June 2nd, 25. So it marks about 78, 79 years at the time of his birth. And he is one of my very, very close teachers, guru, as we can call. And we used to have tremendous amount of time spent together. When I was doing my doctorate, PhD in 65 in Indian Institute of Science, we were a group of people, Deshpande, Mukunda, and all others, Prahlad, others. We used to sit together and discuss whether the research that we are doing is really taking us towards reality. Why? Because the whole objective of science is to find reality. Is there a fundamental reality from this whole universe has come? We all were very convinced that no, the way that we are going is only spreading horizontally like this thing, and we are not going to the root cause. Then, what are the way out? It was then that we came across our spiritual dimension, the Vedanta, the Upanishads. And it was at that time that we got our Shastriji come into our realm. And I came to know that while he was a professor of chemistry in Vijay College, and Vatsala and her sister, they came to know that he is also an expert in Yoga Vasishtha. Therefore, they also came very close to him, and we were into this dimension. And I found that he was a great scientist with tremendous capacity of scientific rigor. One side, he was a genius of creativity. Another side, he is a genius for excellence in terms of focused approach to these things. And he was telling how he got inspired by Subra Shastriji, his uncle's father. And we were all very attracted by him. And then we started having group discussions. And he said that we'll all sit together and more in a conversational style. That is his speciality. And he would talk about Upanishads. What is the essence of Upanishads? How it takes us to the ultimate reality, all that thing. And his summarization of all Upanishads is something very unique. And he was able to bring the essence of all Upanishads. Two approaches. One is search for reality, another is search for happiness. And he said he was very attracted by the dimensions of happiness, and how it is connected to reality. Also, he was able to connect. So we were all highly attracted by scientific rigor of presentation of Upanishads, and all of you also know how he was bringing this dimension. In the happiness analysis, many masters also have unraveled mystery. Happiness is not outside, it is inside. So Swami Chinmayananda's main thing was that, and Swami Purnananda Tirtha was working on these things and showing that happiness is inside, it's an inner state, it is not outside. And also many other masters, they are also working on this dimension of happiness. While most of the other Vedantic masters talked about reality, pure consciousness. So what we said is to say that happiness is not outside, it's not in objects of enjoyment outside. All of you have heard, I don't have to repeat, happiness analysis, and showing that repetition of an object, it has the law of diminishing returns. Therefore, happiness is not in outside objects, it's inside. That's where more people think. Therefore, people say, start looking inward. But Shastriji special was, okay, what is that inner state which you call as happiness? The next step. Then in this analysis, all of you have heard that is it a state of concentration? Because you go to a movie, you read a very attractive novel in which your mind is fully absorbed in the fullest of concentration. So it looks that happiness is an inner state of immense concentration. Then most people stop there, But his brilliance and scientific rigor was such, okay, we should apply the litmus test even there. What if you put your mind in that phase of concentration for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, 2 days, 5 days, whether the happiness is going to increase? We all understood? No. People who have a lot of concentration power, after 1 hour or half an hour, they want a cup of tea or a coffee, if not a smoke or a drink, So the second level analysis for that, it is not. Then what it is, then in the third level, he went and he presented, see, when you go to a marriage party or something like this, you're so excited, So most of us believe happiness is in a state of excitement, thrill, a thrilling experience, we say, a exciting things. But then, whether that state of thrill, that excitement, which we call as normally happiness, we all want that. It's not a dull state, It is a state of excitement and then thrill. Then again apply for the litmus test. Normally after 2 or 3 days of marriage party and excitement and the happiness and thrill, everything, you want to rest, Oh, we are all tired. Excitement also is limited, and again the law of diminishing returns. Then what is it then which we call as happiness? Is to say, okay, now we may not have anything external, but you got a great praise, you got an award, or you have a big praise from everybody. Everybody appreciates your talk. So you're all thrilled, you're all very happy. Even without external objects of enjoyment, like eating, drinking, or other thing, still you can get happiness. It's a state inner. Then again, the limitations of litmus test. So when this was going on, there was a brilliant student. He came out and said, "Sir, you are saying that happiness is not in objects of enjoyment. But if I eat my very fond rasgulla, he is from Bengal, I will get happiness. Therefore, instead of saying that happiness is not in rasgulla at all, or gulab jamun at all, or any other object at all, the first piece gives you happiness. Therefore, we have to say that happiness is in first object of enjoyment, first rasgulla, first gulab jamun, first pal paisam, first this thing. Instead of saying that happiness is not at all in any other things. Very brilliant question, that he addressed it so beautifully. He said, okay, it depends on the mood. And he was quoting a big accident that happened near Banerghatta, in the Harpanalli area. At that time, when the two trucks were going and there was a big crash and worst accident, 8 people died. Two friends who were just walking across, on one of them it fell and he was crushed to pieces. And the other friend, Hari, he was so shocked. He did not get sleep. In the night he went there, and then morning his very close friend from Jigni, from Narayana. He came, knocked the door, and Hari opens the door with all melancholic mood, and Narayana is full of excitement. Oh, Hari, what happened? I got result yesterday, SSLC, and I passed first class. In Jagani, getting first class in SLC at that time was something miraculous, And he had brought a nice set of dudh peda, everything. Special peda from Dharwad. This Hari was very fond of this Dharwad peda. Come on, eat. Let's enjoy. What was the result? What did Hari say? Oh boy, what happened? Our such a close friend, Prahlad is no more there. For no fault of ours. We were just walking and it fell suddenly. You come and see. I don't have any mood to eat anything, nothing. So even the first object of enjoyment doesn't give happiness. So this was a brilliant answer that he gave. And that was very fascinating to all of us. Then what is it then which you call as happiness? Then he was telling as to how we miss the truth by speed. You know. So once you slow down, then the truth reveals. And he was giving examples in cricket match and also Olympics, how people, when they go from a distance, they were doing. You know. So we were able to you know, jump with excitement when the batsman gives a big sixer. And in the next ball, when he's out, then we didn't know how the thing happened and he's going away. All that. So when you slow down, you will see the truth. Therefore, he says you have to slow down to understand the truth of what happiness is. So he told an example, okay, let us imagine that you take a nice videography, nice video of the gulab jamun that you are eating and slowly play back. Then when you play back, what happens? Then you are sitting, you have the nice gulab jamun, your fond is there, and you start eating. You take a small piece and put it into your mouth. And when you put into the mouth, the small piece of gulab jamun or rasgulla, whichever, when it touches the taste buds, then something miraculous occurs. What is that called? Vishaya Vishayi Sambhoga. Vishaya is the object, whether it should be your fond gulab jamun or rasgulla, or it could be anything else, or shaken, and the taste buds are the Vishayi, the sense and the sense object. When the sense object comes in touch with the sense, then something miracles occurs. What is that? The mind becomes silent. All thoughts get obliterated. And this is what we miss. And we say, oh, it was so nice, and you want to eat the next piece. So the Upanishad will please examine that. What happens to the mind that we're able to see. So he to tell this experiment every one of you should do. And whenever you used to have nice festivals and other things, he said that we should test again and again, whether it is true. And all of us conducted this experiment for several months, several times, and we used to have a lot of questions and discussions on this dimension. And so that state of silence, then other day, our Deshpande asked, what about my litmus test? If I stay in that silence for 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, one whole day, and days together, will the happiness increase? No. Then he said, yes, you should try. Whether you can stay in that silence for longer time. No? But none of us could stay longer and longer. Therefore, what is the way out? We'll find out what the seers tell who are able to stay. No? What they say, that when they stay longer and longer, it is a state of increasing returns and not decreasing returns. So if you stay 1 hour to 2 hours, the happiness will multifold, 4 times, 6 times it goes. And it goes with exponential growth. That's what they say. But what the result? It's not only happiness in the head that you are feeling, the whole body gets completely transformed. There's metamorphic transformation. This is what we should experience. From then, we all started conducting the experiments, and whenever we used to have retreat here in Prashanti Kutiram, a small group of 5, 10, 15 people used to come, and this was the main thing. Allow the mind to calm down, silence, trying. Whenever you do any work, not only when you eat or when you discuss, but even when we are doing vegetable cutting, can you see that dimension of Vishaya Sambhoga going on? Enjoying the work, get this thing, and have the walk. And when you go for bath, things can happen. These things started working. So his theme became let go. Let go the mind to silence. Silence is peace. Silence is bliss. Bliss is silence. Happiness is bliss. So this is the first thing that attracted all of us. And we were asked to do this experiment again and again. He said sadhana. Sadhana is most important. Reading Upanishads, all the essence of Upanishads can be understood in no time. It's a common factor in all Upanishads. But you have to experience that. Once you are convinced that the happiness is inside, not in outside, then your whole life will change. When you want happiness, normally what would you? You go to our kitchen or go to a restaurant, and every day you want to go for a different restaurant and go to different movies or have other types of enjoyment. That's what we are doing. All the time we are in the Vishaya Sambhoga dimension, we are doing the sense pleasures. And to make this, we built up skyscrapers, we built all facilities and providing more and more sense objects for enjoyment of these things. And you enjoy, come to this hotel, come to that hotel, come to this thing, go for touring. And every Friday evening we have the parties and everything we are doing. Everything we are going in a wrong direction. Instead of that, what you should do, should allow the mind to calm down. Every evening, every day, when you want, you'll all have satsang in which you will practice. Is to come and sit and then keep the mind silent. Silencing. That was the greatest contribution of Shastriji. And he used to say that we all spend so much of time to educate ourselves, get a job, make good money, and then maybe marry and children and enjoy everything. But we never asked, what is this which you call as happiness? And we are not going in the right direction. We are searching in the wrong direction. Therefore, our entire life should change. And all our life started changing in this direction. So if you want more happiness, what is to be done? You have to stay in that silence. Go to silence. Directly eat. Why you have to take all the way and then eat like this? No. So this is the secret of the Upanishads that he brought forth. And that is the formula he gave. Let go. So how to go into that silence? Mind always tries to wander around. Sometimes you get very good thoughts and you get lured into it, and sometimes you get very nasty thoughts, bad thoughts. They all come. So in meditation, what is to be done? Normally you get attracted or dejected. Raga, dvesha, pulsas. So, here to give an example, there was a lady who came and she asked, "Sir, I'm very fond of doing meditation because this silencing of the mind is very important. But what happens when I start meditating, I get all sorts of negative thoughts, nasty thoughts, horrible thoughts. I'm trying to push it out, no? And I want to throw it away. I'm doing that. Every time I sit, same nasty thoughts come. If I don't meditate, I'm normal. I'm all right. All nasty thoughts, dirty thoughts, and horrible thoughts. So I've been sitting meditation, it comes. Therefore, I have lost hope of any meditation to take the mind to silence. What is to be done? And he said, an example, Ramdas Swami, you know, he had many disciples. Every day they come in the evening and sit in meditation. They were going on. And there was also a person who was a shepherd who used to come and he also used to sit. And many weeks, somebody saw him very, very sincere. He coming, sitting there for 1 hour, 2 hours, along with these people. And after maybe 3, 4 months, then he one day came to Swamiji with all humility, doing namaskar, Swamiji, Swamiji, can you also give me the diksha? He had given diksha to all these people, mantra, let me also get. Then Swamiji looked at him with sincerity. Okay, I will give you. Hmm? One condition. I will give you Ram Nam Japa. You must go on chanting Ram, 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 Ram. Hmm? 1008 times in the morning, 1008 times in the evening, you must do minimum. And if you do it more times when you have more time, it's still good. But one condition. Yes, Swamiji, what? When you chant Rama, no Hanuman, no monkey, please. You should never think of a monkey. You know. Yes, Swamiji, yes, Swamiji. He went back and he started doing that. Ram, Ram. What he had told, I should not think of a monkey. No monkey, no monkey, no Hanuman, no Hanuman, no monkey, no monkey. It became monkey japa. See, if you don't want something, it has got a higher power to attract you. Therefore, this is what he told to lady. Therefore, you never try to throw the bad thoughts out. Thoughts are thoughts. Good thoughts or bad thoughts or other things. You be neutral. You know. Let them come, let them go. Don't analyze whether they're good thoughts or bad thoughts or horrible thoughts or this type of thing. Let them come, let them go. Let them come, let them go. So this is the type of, neutrality that we have to let go. Let the thoughts come, let them go. It is their nature to come and go, let them go. But just enjoy your inner thing, staying in that silence. That's how he is to give wonderful directions to all of us on various types of different experiences, that we used to have. And then the life started changing, and that's the dimension. Then each silence a single state, or the different levels of bliss. If it is silence, there is only silence, there are no thoughts. Then he says that look at that. Samodhayatittam vikshiptam samayet punah. Sakashayam vijaniyat. Samapraptam na chalayat. Sakashaya. That this state of so-called silence is not the ultimate reality. Your mind may be calm, silent, but all your samskaras are very much there. And then his next contribution is the two-dimensional approach. One is the spatial aspect, another is the time aspect. So what characterizes happiness? In silence, there is slowness and there is expansion. Vistarata and sankochata. Expansion and contraction. Daidhanyata and vega. Speed, very fast, and slowness. One is the space aspect, one is the time aspect. These are the ones that make our mind. Therefore, what is to be done is you have to cultivate slowness and vistarata, expansion. These are two things that is it. So how to do that? Again, sadhana, you must practice. Stimulate and relax. Laye sambodhayet, vikshiptam shamayet. No? So how he was practicing himself, he was sharing. No? And he goes into bath, he will have hot water put on him, very nice, soothing thing. Should not be too hot or it should be too cold. It should be soothing. Then Vishya Sambhog, observe what is happening to your mind, how mind is going. And how the whole body will cool and it brings a relaxation. Again, he'll put one mug of hot water, put on himself, and again he will observe. He will sit, he will do the entire bath in the thing for almost half an hour to 1 hour. Always there used to be quarrel between him and his wife. How much time you are spending in this thing, bathroom, why you are doing this thing? Then he said, it's a sadhana to do this thing. So in every action you must do. In eating, you should eat and test the Vishya Sambhoga when you are doing. You hear a song and continuously you must see how the mind is going. So the whole day should become the sadhana, irrespective of whatever work you are doing. That is the dimension that he was giving. Stimulate, relax, stimulate, relax. Based on that, we developed this wonderful cyclic meditation to go deeper and deeper, as most of you know. So we have to move from gross to subtle and causal, and finally beyond. So the depth of understanding of the entire nature was something remarkable. We were discussing quantum mechanics, Schrodinger equation and quantum mechanics, all these things. And our people were telling that quantum mechanics is something different from classical mechanics. Classical mechanics is based on continuity. There is a continuous thing that are going on. Whereas once you go to particular thing, there is a quantum jump. So this forms the basic dimension in that thing. So then we are explaining how there is the visible light. We have got the wavelength and the frequency. Vibgayar, as you also violet, indigo, blue, yellow, orange, red. This is the dimension. So from 3 gigahertz down to 300 megahertz. So what is happening here is the frequency is reducing and wavelength is increasing. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. When you go still lower, till wavelengths become bigger and bigger, and the frequency starts becoming slower and slower. Frequency slower, wavelength higher. Then you get into the infrared. Infrared is the heat energy. Then you come to microwaves. Then you come to radio waves. In radio waves, you have got short waves, medium waves, and long waves. These are all field, this one. This is what happens when you go on reducing the frequency. Lower frequency, long wavelength, and decreasing frequency and increasing wavelength this way. When you start coming on the other side, the violet start becoming ultraviolet. You are increasing the frequency and the wavelength is decreasing. So it's becoming sound. Then ultraviolet, you have X-rays. From X-rays, you have the gamma rays. So this is the complete wavelength in meters. What is happening here? No? Wavelength is increasing here, wavelength is decreasing here. Frequency is increasing here, frequency is decreasing here. No? There are two dimensions. One is the speed, that is the frequency. Increasing frequency means increasing speed. No? And another is the wavelength, expansion, wavelength. This is the spectrum that we have. So constriction was a decreased wavelength. Wavelength decreasing is one aspect, and there is another is constriction. In constriction, there is limited prana. So limited prana, irregular and diffuse, and high dissipation, high sankochata. Sankochata is constriction. So here there is a limited prana, there is irregular and diffuse prana, high dissipation. Whereas in the decreased wavelength, in the expansion, decreased wavelength, what's happening? Concentration of prana is there, stable, coherent, high efficiency. There is concentrated prana. Stable, coherent, high frequency. When you slow down the breathing, then there is going to be stable, coherent therapy that start coming up. So in the electromagnetic spectrum and pranic spectrum, if energy is the factor which is featured by the wavelength and also the frequency, one is constriction, another is speed, another is expansion and slowness. These are the two things. One is the space dimension, another is the time dimension. Similar thing is the pranic spectrum. Then pranic spectrum, we move from Annamaya to Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, and beyond. Keval Anandamaya Kosha. What is happening here? There is breathing is becoming slower and slower. And mind is getting expanded more and more. In Annamaya Kosha, reverse. Breathing is fast. Breathing is, haphazard. And the mind also is constricted. Constriction and speed. Here, expansion and slowness. These are the two dimensions. What you see here in the electromagnetic spectrum is also seen here in the pranic spectrum. So the whole emphasis of pranayama is to see that breathing rate should come down. So at the mind level, one is the speed of the mind. Another is the expansion of the mind. He is to say that his major thing is the speed. The mind was very creative, very fast, and then it goes run riot. The thing that happens whole night, he will not get sleep. The mind will be going in that thing and working on that thing, faster thing. So slowing up the mind directly by dhyana was very difficult for him. So what he was doing? Pranayama, breathing. Breathing and prana, mind, are connected. Therefore, his whole approach is the pranayama. Whereas mine was opposite of that. I was calming down the mind, silencing the mind, trying the mind, and staying that silence longer and longer. He said, how you were able to do that? That's wonderful. Then I used to say that how you are able to slow down the breath and do these things and bring down these things. So every sadhak may have their own preference of doing this thing. Either you work on slowness or you work on the expansion. Both these things. And if you have both of them, then you grow. So this is the whole speciality that he worked on that. So his whole emphasis on sadhana, sadhana, sadhana. No? Don't try to read and do more and more of reading and reading. The whole essence is to catch the essence and do that. So it's in the Manomaya Kosha that the spirited thoughts turn themselves as Adhi and comes down to the Annamaya Kosha as Vyadhi, as all of you heard. So to deal with modern ailment and cities, we have to work on the Adhi. So this is the great contribution of Yoga Vasishta, which he pulled out. Adhija Vyadhi, Anadhija Vyadhi. Adhija Vyadhi is the modern NCDs, non-communicable diseases. Anadhija Vyadhi is the infectious and contagious diseases. So this is how he was explaining. Then, just like we have electromagnetic spectrum, there is also the pranic spectrum. This side is Sankocha, that is constriction, and this side is Vistarata. So, we have got Sankochata, constriction, and this is Annamaya Kosha, the gross. Gross to the subtle to the causal. The gross, vital, mental, intuitive, and causal. This analogy from famous. From electromagnetic spectrum we have, similarly here, we have these things. So here what is happening? You are expanding. And the breathing is becoming slower and slower. The mind is becoming calmer and silent. Expanded mind and slowing down mind are the key essence of growth. This is a complete pranic field. Just like in physical world, we have electromagnetic spectrum, the energy field, here it is the pranic field that we are bringing. So in the electromagnetic spectrum, we have the radio waves, visible spectrum, and the gamma. Here the gross, the subtle, and the causal dimension. Prana does not increase or decrease. It reorganizes from dissipation to coherence. So, in the Panchakosha dimension, we have Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, the gross, physical, outer mass, food and tissues, muscles, bones, survival. It's all done. Prana is taking care of this dimension. In the Pranamaya Kosha, the vital, energetic, breath-centered, life force energy, breath flows, vitality, health, Pranamaya Kosha. Then come to Manomaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha with different chakras, we move, make it central. Then Vijnanamaya Kosha, the wisdom. What happens here? We have intuitive, discrimination, integrative, discrimination, insight, inner guidance, higher intellect, and all these things used to happen. And Anandamaya Kosha is the bliss. Deep peace, inner silence, unity, awareness, Anandamaya Kosha. And in the Upanishads, he was emphasizing on the increasing bliss as you move like this thing toward this. So in the Ananda Mimamsa, there is a way to quantify Ananda, How do we measure Ananda, So he's to explain us. How do we measure the length, or the width of this thing? We have to define one unit. What is the one unit? We say this particular length is called 1 meter. And everybody accepted throughout the world that this distance is 1 meter. That is an arbitrary decision of defining a unit. There is no absolute dimension. So all of us in the world, we sat together and then said that this distance is 1 meter, this thing. In NTP conditions, you say that this thing is there. Then you can go on reducing, and increase. Increase on the other side, you have kilometers, miles, and this thing increasing more and more distance. And then this thing, other things, smaller and smaller. Meters, then we have centimeter, millimeters, and nanometers, and everything like that. So to measure anything, we must first define one unit. Similarly, if you want to measure the Ananda, you must define one unit of Ananda. That's what the Upanishads have done. Yuva syat sadhu yuvadhyayakaha ashishto dradishto balishtaha tasyayam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat sayeko manusha anandaha. One unit of highest human happiness, highest manusha is defined. How it is defined? Imagine a young person, full of youthful energies, and he want to enjoy the life by the sense pleasure to the maximum, and give him all the sense pleasures that is needed for him. All the five indriyas, he will be full this thing. And to achieve this, he has the large amount of money needed for this thing. Sarva vittasya purnasya. He is millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, and he is the richest person of the whole world. He has got all the wealth of the world. And he is also having the complete emperorship of the whole world. Imagine how much of happiness he can get. That is called as one unit of Ananda. Then, Teye Shatam Manushyanam Anandaha, Teyeko Manushyadeva Gandharvanam Anandaha. Then when you come to the Pranamaya Kosha, you will have 100 times more, and there are layers in Pranamaya Kosha. Manushya Gandharva, Deva Gandharva, Gandharva. No? So from there you come to Manomaya Kosha, again you have the other dimension. So like that it goes on increasing. In Anandamaya Kosha, it is 10 to the power of 20 times, called Brahmana Ananda. So this is all in creation. And the whole approach of our people were to get more and more of Ananda and then reach the highest Ananda, Anandamaya Kosha. So what is to be done for that? Slowing. And another is expansion. And once they start going here, they get higher and higher powers. In Yoga Vasta, there is the Bhushanda. Bhushanda is a Kaka Bhushanda, and he was the greatest of the achievers. He used the breathing dimension, slowing breath, and one breath for several years together. That is the dimension. Whereas Vashta and others are all calming down of the mind, expansion of the mind and others. So both dimensions were there is the highest. And you have to go beyond all these koshas to our original state. That is beyond Anandamaya Kosha. So, here is the pranic spectrum we are seeing of evolution. So, Shastriji believed in evolution. How entire creation is slowly evolving for thousands and thousands of years. Earlier, it all used to be only physical world. Then slowly came up the plant world, then the animal world. Animals become more and more intelligent, the monkeys. And then we become human beings. In human beings, it used to be tamas, then it became rajas, then it became sattva, and in the sattva human beings, we started growing beyond. And we started going beyond to the mind and emotions, everything, and going beyond the ultimate reality. So this is the pranic spectrum of evolution that we have to do. So, what is to be done in the whole process? Slowing down, low frequency, and coherence. High frequency, coherence. That. So these are the dimensions that he was talking about and brought wonderful knowledge base, which are very practical and very scientific. So with that, I will close my talk and offering my salutations to Shastriji again, who has led all of us to wonderful heights. And thank you all very much for your presence today. And if there are any questions, we can spend a few minutes.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
So, like you said, learning to let go and the silence of the mind. But as a householder, we are able to do our sadhana maybe for 1 hour a day maximum. So, how do we maintain that silent state in all our activities?
Yes, getting the glimpse of silence is the first step. But regular practice, practice, abhyasa. And you must practice every day, in the morning, in the evening. Particularly, is to emphasize in the night before you go to sleep, to spend time, so that that will help to change our entire basic personality trait. And that will help us to do this thing. That was his emphasis all the time. Every day he would say before going to sleep, no, he should allow the mind to slow down. And he was telling his main thing was sadhana, is breathing, slowing down the breath. They were doing. So each time he used to meet, we were sitting together for this sadhana. If we have half an hour, 45 minutes discussions and question and answers and other, sit for dhyana. Slow down the breathing, calm down the mind, and share the experience. Lot of challenges used to come, and then he would answer them and do this thing. And connecting it to the science was his specialty. Vivekananda said, combine the best of the West with the best of the East. And he was a modification. He was a wonderful combination of both. So we are trying to understand what is this entire Jagat made of. It's all made of prana. Prana Chedam Vashe Sarvam Tridivayat Padishtitam. So use the prana. In the prana, you have to slow down the prana, slowing down, and expanding dimension of the mind should expand. As Patanjali said, Ananta Samapatti. He used to mention about that, Anantata. So these are the dimensions. So practice, morning, evening, any length of time, So our Lakshmi auntie, she came to Prashanti Kutiram and started continuously doing this sadhana, except to take care of her normal these things, routine and other thing. She was spending hours and hours together to do this thing. And her thing was Ramanam Jap, She was a great bhakta of Rama, So she used to go on doing that all the time, And Bhikshita Japa, Vajika Japa, then Manasika Japa, she started, and then whole day and night, it becomes so intense, that last 15 years she never slept. All 24 hours she was in the Ramanama Japa. That is Sakshatkara. So that is a wonderful thing that Shastriji gave to all of us. And his various books have been brought out, and all of you should read. But he said, reading all books is okay, but you must do sadhana. You must allow your mind to slow down, calm down, stay in that silence more and more. That's more important than anything else. This is the whole emphasis used to have.
Guruji, if I may ask you, you said Ramanama Japa or any Japa, that is also one of the sadhanas, right? One
Yes.
is slowing down of the breath, the other is Japa as a sadhana. So in the Japa that we are doing, is there a slowness to the Japa that we do? Should we go into that state of slowing down the Japa also? Or will it automatically take us when you start chanting, that will it automatically take you to that state of silence and slowing down?
Normally it happens when you practice automatically, but if you add on this dimension of slowing down, initially when the mind is too haphazard, then you do the fast japa, then it will come under the control. Then you slow down the japa, slow down. Then you go on saying that Ram, Ram. The mind will slow down and stay. So like that, it has to be done. But if the mind is too haphazard, no, when you say Ram, the mind will jump around and it goes like a monkey. Then you have to have the faster japa. So if you use that dimension, then your progress will be faster. But even if you don't do this thing, continually do, 1 crore japa likhita japa, We had another company, she used to write every day, writing, 1,008 like this, 21 crore japa. You have to do that in a few months, That way the mind also will come harnessed and then comes under the control dimension. But Shastriji is to have both the dimensions. You choose. If you can do this thing, do. But if you find that it's not happening, that do. Mechanically go on writing and chanting, Vachika Japa, and then doing this thing. Anybody putting on the chat box? If they have, they can do.
Namaste, Guruji. Could you please explain me a little about expansion? How do we do that?
Expansive meditation is to say that you sit in your roof or where you can see the sky, on watching the sky continuously. And you can add on the dimension of Soham. I am all that pervasive thing. Patni says Ananta Samapati. Or if you are near a sea, you go there and sit in front and have the wonderful sight of the ocean. This is Anantata, infinite thing. So tune your mind to that, and see that it continues like this wonderfully well. This is how we is to practice.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Anybody else put that box?
This is just nothing.
Nothing.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Hey, thank you. Thank you all very much. All the best. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All of you, please come and visit for Shanti.
Sure, Guruji. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
On behalf of Yoga Bharati, we thank you immensely for coming here, sharing these pearls of wisdom that you got from your teacher, mentor, guru. And we are immensely grateful to you. It like how Swami Vivekananda says that the guru is the conveyance in which the spiritual influence is brought to you. Anyone can teach, but the spirit must be passed on by the guru to the shishya, and that will fructify. This is what Swami Vivekananda said, and that is what we understood today about your relationship with Shastriji, and how beautifully he taught you using science, using the parameters of science through which, and you being a scientist yourself, the NASA scientist, I'm sure you could connect very easily with that, and to bring in this dimension of spirituality in you. Thank you very much. Okay?
Thank
For
you.
explaining to us also so beautifully.